This season of the Lake Effect podcast is made possible by the Randolph J. and Estelle M. Dorn Foundation.
This episode is sponsored in part by Shores and Islands, Ohio. S&IO embodies the excitement felt from the very first time you visit. Shores and Islands, Ohio. It's a sure thing. More information at shoresandislands.com.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of the Lake Effect podcast. My name is James Proffitt, and today I'm going to visit the Erie-Ottawa International Airport in Port Clinton, where I'll chat with Kara Clifford, Chief Pilot and Director of Training at Griffing Flying Service, and Tom Griffing, whose family founded the company in 1937.
After you.
Well, I am the second generation in our company. My mother and father started the company in 1937. So
Really?
we're almost 90 years old.
Okay.
And they both passed away. I ran the business for about 30 years, and now my son owns the company, and Kara's his favorite wife.
Okay. So it's a family operation?
Yes,
Okay.
has been for almost 90 years.
Have you thought about selling out to equity investors?
No.
Good.
So, no. I think I don't know how high the figure would have to be before my son would part with the company. But he did tell me I'd be very rich for my 20%. So
I can imagine. 90 years.
yes, we started out as a one-person, one airplane, a Piper Cub in 1937. And right now, we own or operate 17 airplanes.
Wow. I had no idea it was that many.
Yeah. There's some that just fly the islands, and some do longer charters.
Okay, like jets. You have some jets, I think.
Yeah. Two of them are jets that we charter, and we also manage another jet. Actually, it's in Miami right now.
That's impressive. I had no idea. I believe some years back, you guys were located over in Sandusky.
Yes.
Is that correct?
They started in Sandusky on a gentleman's agreement. Got removed from the agreement, built a small airport south of Sandusky. We were there from 46 to 62.
Okay.
Bought the bigger airport, which we closed in 2014. The recession of 2008 was not good for the flying business.
I can imagine.
And I would have never sold it, but it was probably the best thing I ever did in my life.
Okay.
It was very difficult. My house was on it, and I had to sell the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel. My kids grew up looking out the back window of the house at an airport. And my daughter does not fly, but both my sons do.
What?
Yeah.
Chronic underperformer?
Yeah. She's pretty good. Okay? So
Maybe she's smarter than all of us.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
she's the cute blonde sitting in the front.
Okay. Okay. Most of your business is centered around the islands, the regional area?
I would say, correct me, about 30% of the revenue.
Something like that. Yeah. So we have a couple different departments. The islands, especially this time of year, is by far our busiest.
Okay.
We have flight instruction, which is just teaching people how to fly. So
Like school, to
Yeah.
become a
Yeah.
pilot. Okay.
Yeah. That was actually how I started with Griffing. So I'm local, so I went to Perkins High School. And when I was a senior, I realized I wanted to be a pilot. So that was how I initially got involved with Griffing back at the Sandusky Airport before it was the Cedar Point Sports Center.
Okay.
And learned to fly there. And then I realized I really enjoyed the company, really enjoyed the family, and came back after I went to college and everything.
Well, I'll have to say, you look kind of young. How old were you when you learned to fly?
I was 16 when I
Really?
started. Yeah.
Now, most folks are worried about their kids driving when they're 16, but you were flying already.
I was already flying. I was, my mom would sit in the back of the airplane and just like do the lessons with me because she just enjoyed the view.
Really?
Yeah. And so it was actually Tom's youngest son was my first flight instructor.
Okay.
So I was introduced to, aviation really through them. The island business, just being at the airport and watching everything go on was really fascinating to really fascinating to see. So I went to BGSU for aviation, got a bunch of my certificates, and then came back as a flight instructor, and I've been back for 11 years now.
No kidding.
But yeah, we do a bunch. So we do the flight instruction, we do the island business, which is it's really fun. Honestly, it's really hard days. They're long. You have to fly in a lot of tough wind. It's not our busiest season is wintertime, so it's not fun to be outside,
Right.
but it really hones your skills, and our island pilots you can tell that they've flown the islands because they're that good. And then
Very small airports
yeah.
and lots of landings.
Right.
30 landings in a day is not unusual.
For one pilot?
And we can run anywhere from 1 to 3 pilots for a
Isn't that
day.
the trickiest part?
Yes.
Landing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys were busy, especially in the wintertime, because the ferries stopped running.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And that's weather dependent. It could be earlier, it could be later. Mm-hmm. All right. I think you guys take students from South Bass Island, maybe Middle or North Bass, and also Kelly's Island
Yep.
that may go to school over here. Is that the case?
Yes. So we have some kids for Kelly's Island that come off the island to go to school.
Okay.
We've in the past, when the kids were a lot younger, I think a few years ago, there's maybe 5 or 6 younger elementary age kids, and we would fly a teacher over rather than take a
Right.
bunch of young kids off. We'd fly a teacher over. Put-in Bay, we fly kids on and off. Some of them will go to Ehovie over here. There's kids on Middle Bass, but there's no school on Middle Bass, so
Right.
they need to fly over.
Wow.
We fly at, honestly, I think for me, the most fun things with the school kids to fly is Put-in Bay has a basketball team, and that's
Okay.
the only sport that I know of that they do. And so in order to play other teams, we'll either fly the basketball team off the island so they can play another team for a game, or we'll fly other schools over. So it's a bunch of, 14 to 17-year-old kids. A lot of them have never flown before, and we're
Right.
taking, 20 of them, and they're a blast. They're
you-
so fun to fly.
And it happens, do you spend a lot of time answering questions?
Yes, they're freaking out doing this and that, but a lot of it is like they get to do a new experience with their buddies, which
Right.
usually a parent's there, but like we'll fly the refs or the parents over ahead of time so they get to be it's just the pilot and the kids, and they really really have fun with it, which I love taking the basketball teams.
That does sound like fun.
Before I retired, that was the highlight, basketball season, because exactly what she said. Many of these kids had never been in a small airplane particularly.
How many people can you pack into one of your airplanes? And what are the airplanes?
Well, we have, between training airplanes, and we have 4 Piper Archers that carry a pilot and 3 passengers.
Okay.
And we have 3 Saratogas, which is a pilot and 5 passengers. And we also have an airplane, a Britten Norman Islander, carries 9, but it's being refurbished.
Okay.
But-
Okay. You guys keep all the islands connected to the rest of the world in the wintertime. You guys haul the mail every day
Yes,
and groceries?
yes, a lot of groceries.
What about parts, building supplies? Like, name a few things.
Usually the building supplies go over while the boats are running. They plan ahead.
Okay.
But we've been known to haul a lumber that.
There's always stuff that
Like,
somebody
you
forgets.
guys will put 2x4s or other lumber.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll haul all that stuff.
Huh.
Yeah.
What about ice fishermen? I know ice fishing this year has heated up a little bit the past couple weeks. A lot of ice fishermen, shanties. Like, what can they fit in there?
Yeah, a lot of ice fishermen. With it comes, the ice augers, but also the minnows. They have to bring
That was
their
going to
own.
be my question.
Yeah.
With the lid on.
Yeah, but if
Okay.
it spills, it's the water in the carpet of the airplane is
Okay.
an atrocious smell, which.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we fly a lot of ice fishermen, and we'll be, if it's a small sled, we can fit it, just because usually everybody's bundled up, so they're usually, tall guys anyways, but
Right.
then you throw their big
Like
boots
me?
on, and much larger than you. Much taller, much bigger.
And they're dressed to be outside.
Yeah.
I always make the joke that the average ice fisherman weighs 250 pounds. Everybody has about 20 pounds at least clothing.
Right.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the largest thing that you've ever stuffed into one of your airplanes?
1,500 pounds of grapes flying them off.
Really? For what?
They make ice wine that has to freeze first.
Yeah,
Good.
so that was off of North Bass. They don't have anymore, but they had a bunch of vineyards over there. And ice wine, I don't know if you drink any wine, but it's very, very sweet and typically is more expensive than a lot of the other stuff. But it has to go through a lot more in order to
Is that the stuff that comes in a skinny bottle?
Yes, it is. But yeah, we would, I hadn't in my time, but you guys used to a ton, years ago, in our big Islander, we would haul grapes off of North Bass, frozen grapes, and, take them off of North
On
Bass.
the day they decided to do it, my son, her husband, we had 2 Islanders at that time, and we would take one day, and that's all we would do is fly back and forth hauling grapes.
Really?
And then you clean the interior for another 3 days.
Right.
Everything was sticky.
Yes.
Winter versus summer. I know you guys operate year round, but for here locally, how much busier in the winter versus the summer?
Fall and spring are definitely our slow seasons. As soon as the boats quit, which this year it was really early, it was early December, and the summertime we actually get pretty busy from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Okay.
Not with the Bass Islands or Kelly's, but there's another island, I don't know if you've heard of it, Peely Island in Canada. Yes. So their options, there's a lot of U.S. residents that own homes over there, and a lot of them are similar to like Kelly's. It's been in that house has been in the family for generations.
Right.
Years ago somebody in their family bought it, and so the family makes use of it. So their options to get to Peely are, there's a boat that runs out of Sandusky, and it's like an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours to get to Peely. Or they can drive around to Leamington, so that's a 3-ish hour drive, I think.
From here, yes.
And then you have to take a boat, from Leamington to Peely. Or it's only like a 10-minute flight if you come and fly.
Now there's a small custom station out here on the tarmac. Is that an extra step that people have to go to and from Canada?
Oh yeah, we have to send the paperwork every single time. There is no like, oh, they know me, like I don't need my passport. Like we still have to go through the whole thing. But you get to know the customs agents on both ends because you're doing the trip multiple times a day, or they're for the passengers they're coming over and leaving once a week or whatever it is. So you do get to know people, and they know what to pack, what not to pack, which makes life a lot easier for everybody.
I feel like people have told me that taxi cabs pick up prescriptions sometimes and bring them to the airport right away for somebody that might be stuck on the islands. Is that the case?
Yeah, so we fly actually prescriptions and library books. We fly for free.
Okay.
That's it's hard because like it's not their fault that they're on an island and that stuff's hard to get, and those are really important things we feel. So we anytime we can we'll get that prescription on the next flight. Again, that extra step, that extra obstacle you don't normally have to deal with.
What about sightseeing? Do you guys give tours or anything along those lines for people like during the season that just want to see everything from the air?
Yeah, we usually actually, it's a lot of local people, and I've really enjoyed that because they've gone over to the islands on the ferry before, and everything feels so far away when you're on the water or driving somewhere, and then you get up in the air and you're like, oh gosh, that's as far as it is. It's right there, it's just, it feels like a stone's throw. But it's really neat for people to fly around Cedar Point. That's something that for the local people we've all grown up with. If their house is close enough, we might go out of our normal route and fly over their house.
So people want to fly over their... No kidding.
They get very thrilled to see.
Oh, they
house.
do. And then they'll text a family member, and you can see them waving outside in the driveway.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
It's not very high. We're only 1,000 feet high.
Yeah. So yeah, we do that. I've done scenic tours. I've had 2 times where it was a couple, and the guy proposed in the back seat while on a sunset scenic tour.
Really?
It was really, really neat. And then there was like a family member waiting with champagne on the ground.
No kidding.
It was really, really special.
So she said yes?
Yes. Yes. Luckily, we've never walked away like really awkward from the
Talk about a long flight. Talk about a long flight.
They got to drink the champagne, not wear it.
Yes.
Right. When can't you fly? As far as high winds, low ceiling, how is it ever too cold to fly?
Very rarely. The airplane will do it, but it's a safety issue. I mean,
just for the people.
You blow a tire, which very, very rarely happens. You don't want to be sitting at the middle of the airport on Put-in-Bay with the airplane broke down, and it's 15 below zero.
Yeah, or,
Now,
you know,
you
Is
can
there
go-
heat?
Oh, the airplanes are heated, but you're not in it long enough for it to warm up. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
About the time it gets warm, you land and let all the cold air
you
back.
open the door.
What about high winds or low clouds?
We have to have 1,000-foot ceiling,
So yeah, the clouds have to be 1,000 feet above the
and we
ground.
have to have 2 miles visibility.
Okay. How do you know when it's 1,000 feet? The FAA tells you?
There's a little machine over there that measures it out here.
Okay.
It's automated.
I was going to say that would be a long tape measure.
Well, it used to be, well, it looks pretty good. Let's go up and see what it is.
Right.
Which was, in some cases, that's still more accurate. But the winds, we limit about 35 knots. Which,
Okay.
And the airplanes are all placarded, demonstrated crosswind component 17 knots. The word demonstrated, it's not a legal thing. 35 knots. When a pilot flies the islands here a couple years, they could go any place and fly anything.
That instills confidence.
Yeah. We have a young lady that was flying the bigger airplanes. Actually, she flew one whole summer with me as my co-pilot. And she asked if she could fly the islands because she knows the island pilots are the best pilots anywhere. One of the things I'm the proudest of with the company is my mother was a pilot. She learned how to fly during World War II. She was a flight instructor. So I was always very open to female pilots. We have 14 pilots right now. 4 are female.
No kidding.
And
That's way more than industry standard, yes?
Yeah.
at least twice.
Yeah, I think industry standard, I think we're up to, it was, 6% for a long time, but I think we're closer to like 9.5 or 10% now for women pilots.
And a woman pilot is just as good as a male pilot, except in the public perception, they have to be 50% better. And the greatest thing is a woman is generally smooth. They drive smooth. And if you're flying with someone that's jerky, makes a terrible flight. But if they're nice and smooth, and Kara and Rachel are flying the bigger airplanes, they're both jet pilots now. And the other 2 young ladies are flight instructors. They're just working their way up. They will be, I don't know how close Mackenzie is to going to the islands, but or what her next step is.
Yeah.
And it's just the nature. They're just smoother. They're better pilots. My mother was the smoothest pilot I ever flew with. It's always been my policy. My pilots never cancel a trip. When I was the head of the company, and same now with our chief pilot. Well, you're the chief pilot. No. We cancel the trip so the pilot doesn't have to.
Okay.
And we get to a place, you're done.
Right.
For the day.
They always have the ability to say, yeah, it's, the wind is too much today, or maybe the runway conditions are too slick. But if we can, we try to say, hey, we're going to call it that way, that tough decision. Because, when you have a lobby full of people, that's really,
on.
it is. It's really, really difficult to say no, because we're all built that we want to get the job done. And, some very, very rarely, honestly, but on occasion customers, get angry, and it's like, listen, it'd be our days easier if we get you home too,
Yeah.
The
easiest part of the job is doing it. It's
yeah.
when you can't do it, that's when it's hard.
So do you ever have people, maybe they're first-time flyers with Griffing, that are surprised when they find out that you're the pilot?
Yeah.
So young?
Yes, I had, when I first started flying the islands, I was 21 years old, and I definitely have a baby face, so I looked much younger at the time. And I think one of the Kelly's Island residents would joke that my mom dropped me off at work that morning. But
terrible.
and they're great customers. I mean, I love flying them, and they love flying with me now. It's just an easy thing to poke fun of. But at the beginning, especially in the busy season, you just get more people. But I would load the airplane up, and people thought I was just loading the airplane up, and then I would get in the pilot's seat, and they're like, "Oh, you're taking us." And now it's not as common for people to have that bias.
Right. I know you guys keep the island connected in the wintertime. What about medical emergencies on the island when there are no ferries running? Is that something where you guys come into play?
It up until the good helicopter service, I used to do that. I mean, there was one summer I went to Kelly's Island 20 times in the middle of the night.
Really?
Yeah. but the helicopters do a much more efficient job. I was a pilot. There was nobody in the back of the airplane with a patient usually, and it was tough duty.
You've had people that were literally like women going into labor that you took off the island, though.
And my dad told me, Pat Seaholzer, she came off the island. They got her to the hospital. The baby was born 20 minutes after she got to the hospital.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I couldn't imagine.
Talk about making a mess on the carpet. In the middle of the winter, if someone passes away on the island, do you guys
Yeah.
have the
Yeah, we both
honor to
phone
take
people off.
long-time residents off the island?
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
It is. It's really sad, but honestly, it's a really special moment. I've taken somebody off of Put in Bay once, and it was really, it's heartbreaking, but it's also heartwarming seeing the family see that person off, and that is their home. They've been there for however many decades. It's not just a short-term thing.
It's in some ways it's an honor.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
That's. I was reading that in what you said.
No, it's definitely true.
And I brought a guy off North Bass once. He was, I swore he died in the airplane on the way over. He didn't. But it's the noises he made, and he was
Terrible.
That's not good.
And he was a friend.
Right.
Well, that's the other thing is it's not just, we'll say a delivery, I've been around now for 11 years, and you really get to know these people. You fly their parents, their kids, and their aunts and uncles, because it's so many families over there. And you've been flying them for, however many years. It's a long time.
58 years I flew.
Yeah, so you really get to know these people. So, we've attended, different funerals and stuff for these island residents because, it's very much an honor to be a part of the community and see these people and know them.
That's kind of heartwarming.
She and I went to a funeral. The lady was the postmaster at North Bass. There's about 3 people on North Bass right now. At that time, there was 15. When she passed away, there was maybe 75 people there. There were sometimes summer residents of that. Kara and I were there. And, they always had a big picture board. One picture. Herma and I walking around the wingtip of an airplane. I just flown her off. I still got the picture.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I looked at that. I thought, now that is an honor.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How long is the flight, and how many air miles from here to, say, Put in Bay?
Basically 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's about a 5-6 minute flight. Yeah, anywhere you can really get within 10 minutes.
Okay.
So you're not in the air very long. I think it's like a straight line distance of 6 miles from airport to airport. Yeah, Put in Bay it's 7.5. So.
And we're good as Peely, because Peely's the long one.
Yeah, Peely's
between 10 and 11 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they're only 17 miles away. So nothing is very long for the flights.
Right. Kara, Tom, I certainly appreciate you meeting with me today. It's a pretty interesting business you have here, and sounds like a lot of good times.
And we have stories we could tell you, but you couldn't put them on the air.
Oh, I can only imagine. Thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Lake Effect podcast. I'm your host and producer, James Proffitt. Our executive producer is Chris Pfeiffer. To hear more, go to wgte.org/Lake Effect. And I hope to see you somewhere around the lake.
WGTE. Voices around us.
This episode is sponsored in part by Shores and Islands, Ohio. S&IO embodies the excitement felt from the very first time you visit. Shores and Islands, Ohio. It's a sure thing. More information at shoresandislands.com.
This season of the Lake Effect podcast is made possible by the Randolph J. and Estelle M. Dorn Foundation.